Welcome back, Coinology. The story of the 2014 D Lincoln cent is one that goes far beyond its face value of just a single penny, because in the world of numismatics, every small coin has a journey, a background, and a hidden potential that can sometimes turn a humble piece of copper-plated zinc into an object worth unimaginable sums of money. Today we are diving into the coin that has captured the imagination of collectors, dealers, and historians alike, the 2014 Denver Mint penny, the 1 cent coin that many believe could hold a value in the hundreds of millions under the right circumstances. Imagine a coin that most people pass around in pocket change without a thought, now becoming the center of stories about record-breaking sales, legendary discoveries, and an entire culture of coin enthusiasts searching for treasure hidden in plain sight. That is what makes this 2014 D penny so fascinating and worth talking about for hours on end, because behind this small coin lies a monumental history of design, symbolism, production, and collecting dreams that stretch all the way back to the beginning of American coinage itself. The 2014 D penny, like all modern Lincoln cents, has its roots in a series that began more than a century earlier in 1909. That was the year President Abraham Lincoln's portrait first appeared on the 1 cent coin, making it the very first circulating U.S. coin to depict a real historical figure instead of an allegorical image. Since then, the Lincoln cent has been an unbroken tradition in American pockets and purses, an icon of small change but also a constant reminder of Lincoln's enduring legacy. The Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark, played a huge role in striking billions of these cents, and in 2014 the same story continued with billions more struck for everyday commerce. But while the vast majority of these coins remain common, the thrill of coin collecting has always been about finding that one extraordinary piece among the ordinary, the one coin with a minting error, a rare strike, a perfect condition, or a mysterious history that sets it apart from the billions of its brothers. And the 2014 D penny has given rise to stories of just that, with tales of coins discovered in pristine condition, coins graded at the highest levels, and coins that some claim have reached staggering values of up to $396 million in private sales and speculation. To really appreciate why such a coin could ever be valued so highly, one has to first look closely at its weight, composition, and design. The modern penny, since 1982, has been primarily composed not of copper but of zinc with a thin copper plating, a change made by the U.S. Mint to cut costs when the price of copper made the traditional all-copper penny more expensive to produce than its face value. The standard weight of a 2014 penny is 2.5 grams, a small but important detail, because occasionally mistakes happen at the mint and pennies get struck on older copper planchets weighing 3.11 grams, or even on foreign coin blanks. Those rare off-metal strikes can skyrocket in value, turning what looks like an ordinary penny into an ultra-rare specimen worth thousands, millions, or in the most legendary claims, hundreds of millions. Collectors always check the weight carefully, because that simple number can be the difference between 1 cent and a fortune beyond imagination. The design of the 2014 D penny is another crucial aspect. On the obverse, or the front of the coin, you see the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-American artist whose initials VDB can be found near the edge of Lincoln's shoulder on some cents. Lincoln's portrait has been on the coin since 1909, but it has been subtly modified over the decades to improve detail and durability. Above his head, the motto "In God We Trust" stretches across the top, while the word Liberty stands on the left side, and the date 2014 sits to the right, followed by the D Mint mark that identifies it as being struck in Denver. This simple arrangement has become one of the most recognizable designs in American history, instantly recognizable to nearly every citizen and collector alike. On the reverse of the 2014 cent, you find the Union Shield design, first introduced in 2010, symbolizing the unity of the United States preserved by Lincoln's leadership during the Civil War. The shield bears 13 vertical stripes representing the original states, bound together under a horizontal bar inscribed with the national motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Across the face of the shield is a single scroll with the denomination 1 cent, reminding everyone that despite its deep symbolism, this is still just the lowest denomination in American coinage. But of course, for collectors, the value can be far, far greater. And now, let's talk about rarity and condition, because this is where the story of the 2014 D penny becomes legendary. Billions were minted, yes, but condition is everything in numismatics. The grading system used by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, ranks coins from low circulated grades all the way to the coveted mint state 70, which represents a flawless coin with no visible imperfections even under magnification. A 2014 D penny in circulation, worn from use, might only be worth a cent or two. But when you find a 2014 D penny in gem mint state, with blazing luster, razor-sharp details, and no marks, the value begins to climb dramatically. Collectors compete fiercely for the finest known examples, and when population reports show only a handful of coins graded at the very top, those coins can bring astronomical sums at auction. There are stories of such pennies being bid up into the millions, and in the lore of the coin community, tales have even spread of a specimen reaching an incredible valuation of $396 million, though such claims often reside in the shadows of private deals and whispered rumors rather than public auction records. But beyond the numbers, beyond the grading, beyond even the staggering claims of wealth, the 2014 D penny represents something deeper about American history and culture. Every time a new penny is struck, it continues a chain of history that connects generations. The Lincoln cent has survived debates about whether the penny should be abolished, it has weathered economic crises, and it has remained a constant symbol of thrift and value in American life. For children, the penny is often the very first coin they collect, and for seasoned numismatists, it becomes a lifelong obsession to study its varieties, its mint errors, its designs, and its place in the grand puzzle of U.S. coinage. The 2014 D penny, therefore, is more than just a coin, it is a living piece of history, a small disc of metal carrying with it the weight of Lincoln's legacy, the artistry of design, the engineering of the U.S. Mint, and the dreams of collectors worldwide who hope to find that one special penny that changes everything. And so, when people ask how a 2014 D penny could possibly be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, the answer lies not just in the coin itself, but in the story it tells, the rarity it may possess, the condition it may preserve, and the imagination it sparks. Because in the end, coin collecting is not just about metal and numbers, it is about the thrill of discovery, the chase for rarity, the preservation of history, and the dream that even the smallest coin in your pocket could hold a fortune beyond belief. The 2014 D penny embodies all of this, making it one of the most fascinating coins to ever be discussed in the modern numismatic era. When we begin to explore the background of the 2014 D penny, it becomes important to look at how coins are actually produced in the first place. The U.S. Mint operates with incredible precision, but even in a system designed for efficiency, mistakes can happen, and it is often those mistakes that create the most valuable coins in existence. A 2014 D penny begins its life as a small blank planchet, a disc of zinc coated with a thin layer of copper. These planchets are fed into massive coin presses at the Denver Mint, where dies, engraved steel punches with the coin's design, strike them with tremendous pressure, imprinting Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse. Billions of these pennies are produced each year, but among those billions, a few may come out with off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or other fascinating mint errors that instantly transform them from ordinary coins into highly sought-after collectibles. For example, an off-center strike can occur when the planchet is not properly seated in the press, causing the design to appear shifted, leaving blank space on the coin. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the penny can become, especially if the date and mint mark remain visible. Similarly, a double die error happens when the die itself shifts slightly during the creation process, resulting in doubling of the design elements. Collectors go wild for double dies, because they are easy to spot and highly prized. Imagine finding a 2014 D penny where the word Liberty or the date 2014 appears doubled. That coin could be worth thousands or more, depending on condition. Now imagine the rumors and myths of ultra-rare doubled die 2014 D pennies being hoarded by private collectors, sold behind closed doors for astronomical sums, and you begin to understand why whispers of $396 million valuations circulate in the community. But mint errors are not the only factor in value. Another key aspect is provenance, the story of where a coin came from and how it has been preserved. Some of the most valuable coins in history owe their worth not only to rarity but to the unique journeys they have taken. A 2014 D penny found in uncirculated rolls, preserved from the moment it left the mint, may grade much higher than one that circulated in pockets and purses for years. Collectors often buy rolls or even sealed boxes of freshly minted coins from banks, hunting through them for the most flawless examples. Occasionally, someone discovers a coin so perfect that grading companies assign it the coveted mint state 70, and those coins can skyrocket in value because collectors crave perfection. A single 2014 D penny in MS-70 condition could be worth thousands of dollars, and when you add the allure of private collectors competing for the absolute finest known coin, the price could climb far beyond imagination. Some even argue that the legendary $396 million figure represents not just the price of a coin, but the symbolic value of owning the very finest 2014 D penny in existence, the crown jewel of modern numismatics. It's also essential to understand the symbolism behind the design. Abraham Lincoln, the man on the obverse, was chosen in 1909 to mark the centennial of his birth. His image was groundbreaking at the time, because the United States had never before placed a real person on its circulating coinage. Until then, coins typically bore images of Lady Liberty or other allegorical figures, representing ideals rather than individuals. But Lincoln was different. He was the great emancipator, the president who held the Union together during its most perilous era, and his legacy was so powerful that Americans embraced his portrait on the cent. Over a century later, Lincoln remains a permanent fixture on the penny, reminding us of the struggles of the Civil War and the endurance of freedom. The 2014 D penny carries this legacy forward, placing Lincoln's thoughtful, dignified profile in the hands of millions every day, even as its collectors search for the one that might change their lives. The reverse design, featuring the Union shield, also holds deep meaning. Introduced in 2010 to replace the previous Lincoln Memorial reverse, the shield was designed to emphasize national unity. With 13 vertical stripes representing the original states and a single horizontal bar binding them together, the shield represents the strength of the Union. Across it, the scroll reading 1 cent declares its denomination, while above, the motto E pluribus unum reminds us that out of many, we are one nation. This symbolism directly ties back to Lincoln's role in preserving the Union during the Civil War, making the coin not just money but a tiny monument to history. The artistry of this design adds to the emotional value of the coin, which in turn influences its cultural and collectible worth. Now, let's step into the world of auctions and private sales, where the real magic of coin collecting often happens. Publicly, you might find a 2014 D penny selling for modest amounts, perhaps a few dollars for an uncirculated roll, maybe hundreds for an exceptionally high-grade coin. But behind the scenes, in the private collections of wealthy enthusiasts and investors, stories circulate of deals that defy belief. Imagine a collector obsessed with acquiring the single best-known 2014 D penny, someone willing to outbid any rival, driving the price higher and higher until it reaches figures most of us would never dream possible. This is how a simple coin, with a face value of 1 cent, could be whispered about as having sold for $396 million. Whether fact or myth, the legend itself adds value, because collectors love a story, and the allure of owning a coin surrounded by myth and mystery only fuels demand. Of course, skeptics will say that such valuations are impossible, that no modern penny could ever fetch such a sum. And perhaps they are right in a practical sense. But collecting has always been about passion, and passion often ignores practicality. When you look at the record-breaking sales of rare coins like the 1794 flowing hair dollar or the 1933 double eagle, which have fetched tens of millions at auction, it is not hard to imagine that in a world where billionaires compete for bragging rights, even a 2014 D penny could one day be bid to impossible heights. After all, rarity is relative. If there is only one coin in existence graded at the absolute highest level, and if two collectors both decide they must own it, the sky is the limit. That is the beauty and the madness of numismatics, and it is what makes the story of the 2014 D penny so thrilling to tell. So when you hold a penny in your hand, think about the journey it has taken. Think about the minting process that created it, the symbols that adorn it, the errors that might have transformed it, the stories it could tell, and the collectors who might one day prize it above all others. The 2014 D penny may seem small and insignificant, but within it lies a universe of meaning, value, and possibility. And that, ultimately, is why even a 1 cent coin can capture our imagination and inspire tales of fortunes worth nearly $400 million. When discussing the 2014 D penny, we must also understand the broader context of Lincoln cents as a whole. The Lincoln cent has been in continuous production for well over a century, making it one of the longest-running coin series in world history. Over that time, billions upon billions of pennies have been struck, but only a handful across the years rise to legendary status. These are the coins that collectors whisper about, the ones that inspire treasure hunts, and the ones that fetch extraordinary sums at auction. And the 2014 D penny, though modern, has already begun to carve out its place among these legends because of its connection to the long lineage of Lincoln cents and because of the ever-present possibility that one day a perfect specimen or a unique mint error could surface and redefine its value forever. To understand why this matters, consider the story of other famous Lincoln cents. The 1909 SVDB, for instance, was the very first year of issue, struck in San Francisco with designer Victor David Brenner's initials prominently placed on the reverse. Only a limited number were made before public backlash led to the initials being removed, creating an instant rarity. Today, that coin in high grades can be worth thousands. Then there is the 1943 copper cent, an accidental rarity created during World War II when pennies were supposed to be struck from steel to conserve copper for the war effort. A small number of copper planchets somehow slipped through the mint, and those 1943 copper cents are now worth hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions. The 1955 doubled die cent is another example, famous for its dramatic doubling of the date and inscriptions, making it one of the most sought-after error coins in existence. And of course, the 1969 S doubled die, the 1972 doubled die, and other famous varieties have all commanded impressive prices at auction. What does this tell us about the 2014 D penny? It tells us that even in a sea of billions, the possibility of rarity always exists. It tells us that a coin you might dismiss as ordinary could in fact be extraordinary if it carries the right error, the right condition, or the right story. And it tells us that modern coins are not immune to becoming legends, because all of the great rarities of the past were, at one time, just ordinary circulating coins too. The difference is time, discovery, and the passion of collectors. Already, stories circulate of 2014 D pennies in gem mint states selling for hundreds or thousands, and rumors swirl of unique specimens valued in the hundreds of millions. While some may call it speculation or exaggeration, these tales are part of the lifeblood of numismatics, where myth and reality intertwine to create a hobby that is as much about imagination as it is about metal. Let's dive deeper into the technical aspects of the coin itself. The weight, as mentioned, is 2.5 grams for a standard zinc and copper-plated penny. But every collector knows that it is worth weighing their coins, because anomalies can occur. Imagine finding a 2014 D penny struck on an older copper planchet from before 1982, weighing 3.11 grams instead of 2.5. That would instantly make the coin a major rarity, possibly worth tens of thousands. Now, what if a 2014 D penny were struck on a foreign coin blank, such as a planchet intended for a Canadian cent, a dime, or even a completely different denomination? Errors like these have happened throughout history, and when discovered, they send shockwaves through the collecting world. And then there are die varieties, the subtle differences that come from wear and modifications to the dies themselves. A double die, a repunched mint mark, or a misaligned die could all create varieties of the 2014 D penny that become highly collectible. Now let's step into the world of grading once again, because this cannot be emphasized enough. Condition is everything. A coin in circulated condition, worn down by years of handling, is simply not going to command the same price as a coin in pristine condition. Collectors strive to obtain coins graded mint state 65, 66, 67, or higher, because those represent coins that are virtually untouched, with full luster and sharp details. At the very top, mint state 70, a grade reserved for coins that are essentially flawless, commands enormous premiums. For the 2014 D penny, the number of coins graded at MS70 by major grading services is extremely limited, and competition for those coins can be fierce. Each one represents the pinnacle of collecting for that year, and as a result, their values can soar into the thousands or more. And in the speculative, legendary tales of private collectors, the idea of one perfect 2014 D penny being valued at $396 million reflects not just the coin itself, but the sheer power of human desire to own something unique and unparalleled. But beyond rarity and condition, the penny itself holds cultural weight. Think about what the penny represents in American life. It is the smallest denomination of currency, often overlooked or discarded, yet it has endured through every economic era of modern American history. For many, the penny is the first coin they ever receive as a child, a symbol of saving, of allowance, of piggy banks, and of small beginnings. To some, the penny is an annoyance, a coin of little use in an age of rising prices and digital payments. Yet to collectors, the penny is a treasure trove of history, a playground of varieties, a canvas for artistry, and a field where fortunes can be found. The 2014 D penny carries this duality. It is both common and potentially priceless, both overlooked and highly sought after, both ordinary and extraordinary. That paradox is what makes it so fascinating to discuss, to study, and to dream about. Now let us imagine a scenario. A collector sits at home, sorting through rolls of 2014 D pennies from the bank. At first, every coin looks the same, shining copper plating over zinc, Lincoln's face staring back as it has for over a century. But then, one coin catches the light just a little differently. The details seem sharper, the luster more radiant. The collector weighs it 2.5 grams, as expected. They examine it under magnification, and suddenly they see it, a faint doubling on the date, or a tiny anomaly on the mint mark, or perhaps no flaw at all, just a coin so perfect that it looks untouched by human hands. They send it off to a grading service, and weeks later, the grade comes back, MS70. The collector is stunned. They now hold in their hand not just a penny, but possibly one of the finest known 2014 D pennies in existence. The market takes notice. Collectors and investors alike begin to bid. The price climbs. Thousands. Tens of thousands. Hundreds of thousands. And then, in the hushed world of private collectors with unlimited resources, the bidding war reaches unimaginable heights. The coin becomes legendary. The number whispered is $396 million. Whether true or not, the story is told and retold, and the legend grows. This is how coins become myths, and how myths become reality, and through it all, the 2014 D penny reminds us of the deeper truth of numismatics, that value is not only in the metal, but in the meaning we give it. A penny may be worth 1 cent in the eyes of commerce, but in the eyes of collectors, it can be priceless. And so, the 2014 D penny stands not only as a coin, but as a symbol of possibility, of history, and of dreams that reach into the hundreds of millions. The Denver Mint, represented by the small D mint mark on the 2014 penny, has a long and proud history. Established in 1906 in Denver, Colorado, this facility was built to serve the western half of the United States with coinage. What makes the Denver Mint especially significant is that it quickly grew into one of the largest producers of circulating coins in the world. Even today, billions of coins pour out of its presses each year, and in 2014, the humble Lincoln cent was among the most numerous. The D mint mark on the penny is a tiny letter, almost overlooked, yet it serves as a powerful reminder of where the coin was born. For collectors, that mint mark matters greatly. The same year of a coin struck at Philadelphia or San Francisco may have an entirely different rarity profile compared to its Denver counterpart. For the Lincoln cent series, Denver issues have sometimes been common, other times elusive, and occasionally legendary. In 2014, the Denver Mint produced well over 3 billion Lincoln cents. On the surface, such a staggering number suggests that these coins should be common forever. But the lesson of history teaches us that rarity is not always about mintage numbers, it is about survival, condition, and special circumstances. Even when billions are struck, most end up in circulation, subjected to wear, scratches, and damage from years of use. Very few survive in pristine, untouched condition. Fewer still exhibit unusual mint errors or varieties. This is why collectors still comb through rolls of 2014 D pennies to this day, searching for that one flawless or unique piece that could become a legend. The Denver Mint is also known for producing its fair share of mint errors. When you are striking billions of coins, mistakes are inevitable. Planchets can get stuck, dies can crack, machinery can misalign, and human oversight can lead to rare anomalies. These anomalies, though accidents, are exactly what collectors crave. A cracked die might leave a raised line across the coin, known as a die break. A misaligned die might cause part of the design to be missing or distorted. Sometimes, a coin is struck more than once, creating a dramatic doubled image. And on rare occasions, foreign planchets find their way into the presses, resulting in off-metal errors. Each of these possibilities means that among the billions of 2014 D pennies, there could exist hidden treasures worth thousands, millions, or more. Let's take a moment to dive into the collector mindset. For many, coin collecting begins as a simple hobby, finding unusual dates and change, keeping shiny pennies, or hunting through coin rolls from the bank. But over time, the hobby transforms. Collectors become historians, learning about the eras in which their coins were struck. They become treasure hunters, chasing down elusive varieties and mint errors. They become investors, watching auction results, tracking values, and dreaming of striking it rich with a single find. The 2014 D penny plays into all of these roles. As a modern coin, it is accessible to everyone. Anyone can walk into a bank, get a roll of pennies, and potentially find a gem. Yet at the same time, the whispers of million-dollar valuations and even the staggering claim of $396 million make it a coin of legend, one that keeps the imagination alive. When people hear that a penny could be worth nearly $400 million, their first reaction is disbelief. But disbelief is not new in the world of numismatics. There was a time when no one believed a 1943 copper cent could be real until one was found and sold for hundreds of thousands. There was a time when the 1933 double eagle was thought untouchable until one surfaced and sold for millions. Records are made to be broken, and disbelief often precedes discovery. Could it be that one day, a 2014 D penny will stand as the most valuable coin in the world? Collectors argue about this, debate it fiercely, but none can deny that the possibility is what keeps the hunt alive. The symbolism on the coin itself also adds to its mystique. Abraham Lincoln's portrait is one of the most recognizable images in the world. Every detail of his profile tells a story, from the furrows on his brow, to the determined gaze in his eyes, to the strong lines of his jaw. Lincoln was chosen for the cent not only because of his presidency, but because he represented unity, freedom, and sacrifice. When you look at a 2014 D penny, you are looking at more than just a piece of metal. You are looking at a tribute to one of the greatest leaders in American history. The Union shield on the reverse reinforces this, serving as a reminder of the Civil War and the nation's survival. Together, the obverse and reverse of the coin create a miniature monument, a piece of pocket-sized history, and yet, despite all of this symbolism, the coin is often dismissed as just a penny. That contrast between perception and reality is what makes its story so powerful. For the average person, the penny may seem worthless, a coin so small that many refuse to even pick it up off the ground. But for collectors, the penny is the starting point of legends. The very idea that something so small, so overlooked, could be worth hundreds of millions is part of the magic. It represents the ultimate underdog story, the coin nobody wanted becoming the coin everyone dreams about. This is why collectors obsess over condition. A single 2014 D penny in perfect mint state 70 condition is a prize unlike any other. Out of billions, perhaps only a handful achieve that perfection. The rarity of perfection is far greater than the rarity of survival. Collectors will pay extraordinary amounts for those top-graded coins, because they represent the best of the best. And when the best of the best becomes the subject of fierce competition between wealthy collectors, values can climb beyond imagination. To illustrate this, imagine two collectors, both billionaires, both determined to own the finest 2014 D penny in existence. Each has unlimited resources, and neither is willing to back down. They bid against each other, raising the price higher and higher, until the number is so outrageous that it defies logic. The world watches in astonishment as the price crosses millions, then tens of millions, then hundreds of millions. Finally, at $396 million, one collector wins, and the coin becomes a legend. Whether or not this exact story has unfolded yet, it is this possibility that fuels the myth, and it is this myth that gives the 2014 D penny its place in numismatic lore. Every coin has a story, but not every story captures the imagination quite like this one. The 2014 D penny is not just about metal, minting, or money, it is about the dream that lies hidden in every pocket, every drawer, every jar of spare change. It is about the hope that something ordinary can become extraordinary. And it is about the thrill of the hunt, the chase for rarity, and the passion that drives collectors to dedicate their lives to coins. There is an ongoing debate in the United States about whether the penny should even continue to exist. For years, economists and lawmakers have argued that producing pennies costs more than their face value. Because the 2014 D penny, like all modern cents, is made of copper-plated zinc, each coin costs more than a cent to manufacture when you factor in materials, labor, and distribution. Some call this a waste of taxpayer money, arguing that eliminating the penny would save millions of dollars annually. Others, however, fiercely defend the penny as a symbol of tradition, history, and national identity. And right in the middle of this debate stands every penny ever minted, including the 2014 D Lincoln cent. Why does this matter to collectors? Because if the penny were ever discontinued, every existing coin would suddenly transform from a common piece of currency into a relic of the past. We have seen this phenomenon many times before. When a coin is retired, its popularity with collectors often skyrockets. Think about the Buffalo nickel, which ended in 1938, or the Mercury dime, which was replaced in 1946. Both coins became instantly collectible, with values climbing steadily over time. If the penny were ever abolished, the 2014 D cent could become part of a last chapter in American coinage history, suddenly gaining historical significance beyond what anyone predicted. This potential future alone adds to the mystique and speculative value of coins like the 2014 D. Now imagine a world where the penny is no longer struck. Decades from now, children might look at a 2014 D cent with the same curiosity we feel today when we see coins from the 1800s. A humble piece of zinc and copper, once ignored in everyday commerce, would become a treasure of the past. And in that world, the finest surviving examples, those preserved in pristine condition, could indeed command sums that rival paintings, jewels, and historic artifacts. It may seem far-fetched now, but history has shown us time and again that today's ordinary coins are tomorrow's priceless rarities. Let's step back into the collector's world for a moment. Roll hunters across America search daily through 2014 D pennies, weighing them, examining them under magnification, looking for doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or dramatic off-center strikes. For many, it's not just about money, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of discovering something rare. For some, it becomes a lifelong obsession. And every once in a while, someone actually does find something incredible. A dramatic error coin surfaces. A unique doubled die is confirmed. A coin in flawless condition emerges from a sealed bankroll. These discoveries keep the fire alive, and they keep collectors dreaming that one day, they too will stumble upon a penny worth millions or even hundreds of millions. The $396 million story tied to the 2014 D penny might seem exaggerated, and perhaps it is. But it represents something much bigger than just a price tag. It represents the ultimate dream of coin collecting, that somewhere, hidden among billions, there is one coin that is unlike all the rest. That somewhere, in someone's drawer or pocket, lies a treasure so rare, so perfect, so legendary, that it redefines what a penny can be worth. Even if no public record yet confirms such a sale, the whispers and legends fuel the community. Collectors talk about it, speculate on it, and in doing so, give the coin a kind of mythical aura. The mystique grows even stronger when you consider the psychology of value. Why would anyone pay hundreds of millions for a penny? Because to some, it is not about the coin itself, it is about what the coin represents. Owning the rarest, finest, or most famous example of a coin is about prestige, history, and legacy. For the ultra-wealthy, buying a rare coin is like buying a Van Gogh or a Rembrandt. It is a statement to the world: I own something unique, something irreplaceable, something that will be talked about for generations. If such a mentality can drive art prices into the hundreds of millions, why not coins? After all, coins are tangible history, small pieces of art struck in metal, representing entire nations and eras. The penny in particular carries a sentimental value unlike any other denomination. Everyone has handled pennies. Everyone has memories tied to them. Whether it's a child dropping a penny into a fountain while making a wish, or someone bending down to pick up a lucky penny from the sidewalk, or the old saying, a penny saved is a penny earned, this tiny coin is woven deeply into American culture. That universal familiarity adds a layer of emotion to its value. A wealthy collector paying millions for a rare penny is not just buying metal, they are buying nostalgia, culture, and national symbolism. Now let's take this idea and stretch it even further. Imagine a collector in the future, perhaps decades from now, looking back at the 2014 D penny. By then, pennies may no longer be produced. Digital transactions may have completely replaced coins in everyday life. The penny, once the most common coin of all, becomes a relic of a bygone age. The collector holds in their hands the single finest surviving 2014 D penny, graded MS-70, flawless in every way. In that moment, the value of the coin is not just about rarity, it is about representing an entire era of American history. And when two or more wealthy collectors decide they must have it, the price could reach levels that today seem unimaginable. $396 million? Why not? Stranger things have already happened in the world of collectibles, and this is why the 2014 D penny, though small, continues to inspire such fascination. It embodies the intersection of history, artistry, rarity, culture, and imagination. It is proof that value is not fixed, it is created by the stories we tell, the passions we hold, and the dreams we chase. The $396 million tale is, at its heart, a story of belief that a tiny coin can hold immeasurable worth, belief that treasure can be hidden in plain sight, belief that the ordinary can become extraordinary. And that belief is what drives the world of coin collecting forward, generation after generation. To truly appreciate the 2014 D penny, we need to step back and examine the Denver Mint itself, the birthplace of this coin. The Denver Mint was founded in the early 20th century as a branch mint to serve the western half of the United States. Before its establishment, Western miners had to transport their gold and silver to San Francisco or back east for coinage, which was costly and risky. By 1906, the Denver Mint was striking coins, and over the decades it grew into one of the most prolific producers of U.S. coinage. Today, it strikes billions of coins each year, including the 2014 D penny. The sheer scale of this production is staggering, machines running around the clock, striking planchets with thousands of pounds of pressure, producing hundreds of coins per minute. And yet, despite this industrial precision, the human element remains. Mistakes still happen, planchets slip, dies wear out, and every now and then, an error coin emerges. These errors, instead of being flaws, become treasures in the eyes of collectors. The Denver Mint has been at the center of many numismatic stories. Over the years, coins struck in Denver have ranged from the most common to some of the rarest. The 1916 D Mercury dime is one of the most famous examples, a key date worth thousands in high grade. The 1927 D St. Gaudens double eagle is another, a gold coin of legendary rarity and immense value. Even in the modern era, Denver has produced coins that collectors prize highly. This history means that the small D mint mark carries a weight of meaning. When you see it on the 2014 penny, you are not just looking at a letter, you are looking at a symbol of over a century of coinage history, tied to some of the greatest rarities the United States has ever produced. Now let us look at the larger world of coin values. To understand how a penny could possibly reach hundreds of millions, we have to see how other coins have broken records. In 2013, a 1794 flowing hair silver dollar sold for over $10 million at auction, believed by many to be the very first silver dollar ever struck by the U.S. Mint. In 2021, a 1933 double eagle, a $20 gold coin shrouded in mystery and legality issues, sold for an astonishing $18.9 million. A 1795 draped bust dollar has fetched millions, as has a 1913 Liberty head nickel, with only 5 known to exist. Time and again, coins once thought to be worth little have sold for sums that rival fine art and rare diamonds. Each record pushes the ceiling higher, and each record expands the imagination of collectors. If a coin can sell for $18 million, why not $100 million? Why not $396 million? The psychology of collecting plays a major role here. When two or more collectors, especially wealthy ones, decide they must own a coin, the bidding war can become relentless. Each bid is not just about the coin, it is about pride, status, and legacy. A record-breaking coin purchase is a headline, a way for a collector to inscribe their name in numismatic history. The coin becomes more than just an object, it becomes a story, a legend, a piece of immortality. The 2014 D penny, though modern, has the potential to ignite such a war because of its combination of accessibility and rarity. Everyone knows what a penny looks like. Everyone has held one. But not everyone can say they own the single finest example, the one flawless coin out of billions. That combination of universal familiarity and ultimate rarity is what could one day push its value into the stratosphere, and let us not forget the role of errors and varieties. If a 2014 D penny with a dramatic doubled die, off-metal strike, or other spectacular error were to be discovered, its fame would be instantaneous. Collectors and grading services would rush to authenticate it, and once confirmed, it would dominate headlines. The story of a modern penny worth a fortune would spread beyond the coin world into mainstream media, capturing public imagination and driving values even higher. We have seen this before. When the 1955 doubled die cent became famous, people everywhere began checking their change. When the 1943 copper cent was revealed, it became a household name. The 2014 D penny has all the ingredients to follow in those footsteps, and the myth of a $396 million specimen only adds fuel to that fire. The Denver Mint itself adds to the allure. Nestled in the Rocky Mountains, surrounded by history and legend, it stands as a fortress of American coinage. Tours of the mint show visitors the massive presses, the careful craftsmanship, and the sheer volume of coins being struck. To think that among those billions of coins, one single penny could stand apart as a legend is both humbling and inspiring. It reminds us that greatness can emerge from the most ordinary of places. Now let's imagine the scenario again, more vividly. A collector sifts through a roll of 2014 D pennies, perhaps bought at a bank years ago and forgotten in a drawer. One coin gleams brighter than the rest. The details are crisp, the surface is flawless. The collector senses something special and sends it for grading. Weeks later, the results come back, mint state 70. The highest grade possible, a perfect coin. Word spreads quickly. Auction houses make calls. Wealthy collectors prepare their bids. At the auction, the atmosphere is electric. Bids climb rapidly. 100,000. 1,000,000. 10 million. 50 million. The room is buzzing, history is being made. Finally, after a bidding war unlike any other, the hammer falls at $396 million. The coin is now a legend, the most valuable penny in history, perhaps the most valuable coin ever. Whether or not this tale is real or myth, it represents the dream of every collector, the dream that one day, a coin in their hands could rewrite the record books. The beauty of numismatics is that this dream is not impossible. Every great rarity in history was once just an ordinary coin. Every record-breaking auction began with a collector who believed. The 2014 D penny, with its billions of mintage and its whispers of extraordinary value, sits at the heart of that dream. It is a coin that invites us to look closer, to imagine, to believe that hidden treasures still exist in the most unexpected places. The penny is not just a coin, it is a cultural icon, a tiny piece of metal that has carried far more meaning than its face value for generations. When we talk about the 2014 D penny and its staggering rumored value of $396 million, we must also consider the emotional and symbolic weight that the penny holds in American life. For many people, pennies are tied to memories, traditions, and even superstitions. This deeper layer of cultural meaning plays a powerful role in shaping how collectors and the public perceive the coin's worth. Think about the phrase, "a penny saved is a penny earned," often attributed to Benjamin Franklin. For centuries, this saying has represented the values of thrift, hard work, and financial responsibility. The penny became a symbol of saving, of making something out of almost nothing. That idea still resonates with people today, especially in a world where fortunes can rise and fall quickly. When collectors look at a 2014 D penny, they may not just see a coin, they may see a reminder of values, a connection to the nation's history of resilience and practicality. That symbolic weight adds a layer of intangible value that money alone cannot measure. And then there is the lucky penny tradition. How many times have you heard someone say, "Find a penny, pick it up, and all day you'll have good luck"? Across generations, children and adults alike have picked up pennies from sidewalks, believing that a small coin could carry luck, fortune, and positive energy. In some variations of the tradition, the penny must be found heads up to bring good luck. Others believe that even a tails up penny can be turned over and left for the next person, passing along the luck. This folklore gives the penny an almost mystical aura. It is not just currency, it is a charm, a token of fortune, a symbol of opportunity. Now imagine how that superstition multiplies when the penny in question is not just any penny, but a rare 2014 D in flawless condition. To the right buyer, such a coin could represent the ultimate lucky charm, a piece of metal imbued not only with history and rarity but with the promise of fortune itself. The myth of a $396 million penny ties directly into this cultural narrative. It is the ultimate lucky find, the dream of picking up a coin worth a fortune from the most ordinary of places. This story appeals to everyone, from seasoned collectors to people who have never studied numismatics. It taps into something universal, the belief that treasures can still be discovered, that luck can strike anyone, anywhere, at any time. The penny symbolism does not stop there. It is also tied deeply to Lincoln himself. Abraham Lincoln, whose portrait has graced the Senate since 1909, is one of the most beloved and respected figures in American history. Known as the Great Emancipator, he led the nation through its most difficult trial, the Civil War, and is remembered as a symbol of freedom, justice, and equality. Every penny, including the 2014 D, carries his face, making it not just money, but a miniature monument to one of the greatest leaders in U.S. history. For many, owning a flawless or a unique penny is like owning a piece of Lincoln's legacy, an artifact that connects the present to the ideals he stood for. Even the reverse design of the modern penny ties into national identity. The Union Shield, introduced in 2010, is a bold emblem of strength and unity. Its design recalls the shield carried during the Civil War, echoing Lincoln's role in preserving the nation. The banner inscribed with E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one, reminds us of the American experiment, the bringing together of diverse states and people into one nation. When collectors look at a 2014 D penny, they see not only the face of Lincoln but also the shield of unity, a powerful symbol of what the country stands for. This symbolism can transform even a humble coin into something worthy of reverence and, for some, immense financial value. Folklore, history, and symbolism converge in the penny, making it unlike any other coin in American circulation. Dimes, nickels, and quarters may be useful, but none of them carry the same cultural baggage or emotional weight. The penny is unique because it represents both the smallest unit of currency and the largest ideals of the nation: thrift, luck, resilience, and unity. That duality is what makes the penny so compelling, and why stories of a 2014 D penny worth $396 million capture so much attention. The coin is not just a financial instrument, it is a vessel of meaning, and meaning is priceless. Imagine again the collector who wins the legendary $396 million penny at auction. To them, the coin is not just a piece of copper-plated zinc. It is a lucky charm, a cultural icon, a miniature Lincoln memorial, and a symbol of national unity all rolled into one. To hold it is to hold history, luck, and identity in the palm of your hand. That is why its value goes beyond economics and into mythology. That is why the story resonates so powerfully. The idea of luck also fuels the dream for ordinary people. The penny is the most accessible coin. Everyone has had one in their pocket at some point. Unlike rare gold coins or historic silver dollars, pennies are everywhere, within reach of anyone. That accessibility feeds the fantasy. If someone, somewhere, can find a penny worth millions, maybe I can too. It is this hope, this belief in possibility, that keeps people searching, keeps collectors hunting through rolls, keeps the legend alive. The penny represents the chance that extraordinary fortune can emerge from the most ordinary place. In this way, the 2014 D penny is more than a coin. It is a story, a superstition, a cultural thread woven through generations. Its rumored $396 million value is not just about condition or rarity, it is about the layers of meaning humanity has placed upon it. Every time someone picks up a penny from the ground, makes a wish in a fountain, or remembers Lincoln's legacy, they contribute to the myth. And in the world of collecting, myth is as valuable as metal. Behind every legendary coin is a collector's story. Some of these stories are filled with years of dedication, long nights spent hunting through rolls, weekends at coin shows, or entire lifetimes of pursuit. Others are stories of pure chance, someone who stumbled upon a treasure by accident. These stories, whether born of patience or luck, give life to the world of numismatics and show why coins like the 2014 D penny are so much more than just small pieces of metal. Consider the tale of a man who bought a roll of pennies at a bank in the early 2000s, opened it casually at his kitchen table, and found a rare 1969's doubled die cent worth tens of thousands of dollars. Or the teenager who once discovered a 1943 copper penny in their lunch money, unknowingly holding a piece worth six figures. These stories are repeated across decades. Someone finds a rarity where they least expect it. That possibility, the dream, fuels the passion of coin collecting. The 2014 D penny fits perfectly into this narrative. It is a modern coin, mass-produced, seemingly common. And yet, somewhere within those billions, collectors believe a flawless or spectacularly rare version could exist. And if discovered, it could be worth unimaginable sums. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stacksbowers, and Sotheby's have been the stage for many of these dramatic coin stories. Millions of dollars have exchanged hands over single coins, and the bidding wars often feel like scenes from a movie. Imagine the crowd, the tension in the room as the auctioneer calls out bids, voices rising, paddles flying. Each new record price sparks headlines worldwide, reminding people that coins can be treasures as valuable as the world's greatest works of art. Take the 1933 double eagle, for example. Once considered illegal to own because of its mysterious history, one specimen sold for $18.9 million in 2021, setting a new world record. Or consider the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar, believed to be the first U.S. silver dollar ever minted, which sold for over $10 million. The 1913 Liberty Head nickel, with only 5 known examples, has sold multiple times for millions. Each of these coins has a story, controversy, mystery, or sheer rarity, and each story has elevated its value far beyond what anyone would have imagined when the coins were first struck. The myth of a 2014 D penny worth $396 million draws from this same tradition. It tells us that even the smallest, humblest coin could one day stand among these giants, rivaling their records and rewriting numismatic history. Whether the story is fact, rumor, or future possibility, it belongs to the same lineage of numismatic legends, and it is not just coins that have reached astronomical prices. The broader collectibles market has proven that rarity, history, and cultural value can push objects of all kinds to unimaginable heights. A Honus Wagner baseball card has sold for over $6 million. A piece of art by Leonardo da Vinci sold for over $450 million. Rare stamps, comic books, and even vintage sneakers have fetched prices once thought impossible. Each of these markets, like coins, is driven by passion, nostalgia, status, and the thrill of owning something unique. The 2014 D penny sits within this broader context of collectible mania, where value is as much about story and meaning as it is about material. Think about what happens when a coin like this becomes the subject of mainstream media attention. Headlines spread across newspapers, television, and the internet. Penny worth $396 million discovered. Suddenly, millions of people who never cared about coins before are checking their change, hunting through jars, asking questions. The legend spreads, interest surges, and the coin world gains new energy. This ripple effect has been seen many times before. When stories of the 1955 double-die penny spread, people everywhere began to look closely at their coins. When tales of the 1943 copper cent reached the public, it became one of the most famous coins in America. A modern equivalent with the 2014 D would ignite that same fire for a new generation. Collectors know that the marketplace is not just about buying and selling, it is about storytelling. Each coin carries a narrative, and the more compelling the story, the higher the demand. A 2014 D penny is not just a coin, it is the coin from the Denver Mint, carrying the face of Lincoln, struck with the Union Shield, part of billions yet rumored to include a specimen worth nearly $400 million. That narrative is irresistible, and in the world of collectibles, narrative is everything. One cannot overlook the global aspect of this, either. American coins are not only collected in the United States, they are pursued worldwide. Collectors in Europe, Asia, and beyond often compete fiercely for U.S. rarities. In countries where coin collecting is a booming hobby, like China or India, demand for U.S. coins has surged, and rare specimens often sell for record prices overseas. A legendary 2014 D penny could easily become an international icon, pursued by collectors not only for its financial value but for the prestige of owning a piece of American history. Let us imagine once more the final scene of such a story. A 2014 D penny, certified in perfect condition, is placed on the auction block. Collectors from around the globe dial in, some in person, others by phone or online. The bidding starts at a modest figure, but quickly climbs: 10 million, 50 million, 100 million. The auctioneer can hardly keep up as voices clash, numbers fly, and tension builds. Finally, the hammer falls at $396 million. The crowd gasps. Headlines are written instantly. The coin is no longer just a penny, it is a legend, a record holder, a cultural phenomenon. Its story is etched into numismatic history, inspiring generations to come. Whether or not such a sale ever happens, the legend of the 2014 D penny already plays its role in keeping the fire of collecting alive. It shows that even in a world of digital money, NFTs, and cryptocurrencies, a small copper-plated zinc coin can still capture imaginations, stir passions, and perhaps, just perhaps, change someone's life forever. The world of coin collecting is not static, it evolves with each generation, shaped by technology, markets, and culture. When we think about the 2014 D penny and its whispered value of $396 million, we also have to imagine what the future holds for coins like it. In many ways, the coin is not just a relic of the past, it is a bridge into the future of numismatics. One of the most transformative innovations in modern collecting has been professional grading. Before the 1980s, coin values were often debated, with disagreements over what constituted fine, uncirculated, or gem condition. Then came third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC, which revolutionized the hobby by providing standardized, impartial evaluations. Today, a coin is not considered truly rare or valuable until it has been certified by one of these organizations. For a 2014 D penny, this means that its destiny lies not just in being discovered, but in being authenticated, encapsulated, and recognized as flawless by the grading giants. A coin graded mint state 70 by one of these services becomes a kind of numismatic royalty, a specimen elevated above billions of others. And if such a penny exists, it could indeed command a staggering price in the marketplace. Technology continues to transform the way collectors buy and sell coins. Online auction platforms, digital catalogs, and instant worldwide bidding have opened the market to millions of new participants. A rare coin no longer changes hands only in hushed private rooms or at elite conventions. It can be bid on from a smartphone anywhere in the world. Imagine the auction of a legendary 2014 D penny. Collectors in New York, Tokyo, London, and Dubai all competing in real time, driving the price higher with each click. The global reach of technology ensures that when such a coin surfaces, the entire world will have its eyes on it. Beyond traditional auctions, new forms of digital ownership are emerging. Some companies now tokenize rare coins, allowing collectors to own shares of a coin the way investors own shares of stock. Others create high-resolution digital scans and tie them to blockchain technology, ensuring transparency and proof of ownership. In such a world, a 2014 D penny could become not just a physical object but a digital phenomenon, shared, traded, and displayed in virtual galleries. The fusion of physical rarity with digital access could multiply its value and expand its legend far beyond what was once possible. But even as technology advances, the emotional pull of holding a coin in your hand remains unmatched. There is something deeply human about the weight of metal, the sound of a coin when it drops, the glint of copper under the light. In an increasingly digital world, coins like the 2014 D penny may become even more prized as tangible connections to history. They represent permanence in a time when so much feels fleeting. They remind us that value is not just numbers on a screen, but something real, something you can touch, something passed from hand to hand across generations. Looking to the future, coin collecting also benefits from the growing interest of younger generations. While some feared that digital distractions would erode the hobby, the opposite is happening. Social media, YouTube channels, and online communities are inspiring a new wave of collectors. Videos showcasing rare pennies, error coins, and unbelievable auction results go viral, sparking curiosity in people who never before thought about coins. A story about a 2014 D penny worth $396 million is exactly the kind of tale that spreads like wildfire online, capturing imaginations and bringing new enthusiasts into the fold. We must also consider how the future of currency itself will shape the penny's legacy. There have been serious discussions about discontinuing the penny altogether. Rising production costs and the shift toward digital transactions have made many question whether the smallest coin has a place in modern commerce. If the penny were to be abolished, every existing specimen would become part of history, instantly collectible, and far more significant than it is today. The 2014 D penny would not just be one of billions, it would be part of the last era of the penny, and its legend could only grow from there. And then there is the matter of legacy. Collectors today are not only buying coins for themselves, they are buying for the future, for their children, for museums, for the chance to leave something behind that will be remembered long after they are gone. Imagine a collector who wins the legendary $396 million 2014 D penny. For them, it is not only a prize but a legacy, a way of inscribing their name into history. When that coin eventually passes on, through inheritance, donation, or resale, it will carry their story with it, just as Lincoln's portrait carries the story of America. The coin becomes a thread that connects past, present, and future, ensuring that its legend will endure. The beauty of the 2014 D penny is that it embodies both the ordinary and the extraordinary. It is the coin you could find in your pocket change today, and yet it is also the coin that could command nearly $400 million tomorrow. It represents the thrill of possibility, the blending of history with myth, the fusion of tangible reality with dreamlike value. And in a world where collectibles, art, and history are constantly being reimagined, that blend is what ensures that the penny's legend will not fade, it will grow. Think again of the future auction room, perhaps decades from now. Technology has advanced, currencies may have changed, but the thrill remains the same. A 2014 D penny is displayed under brilliant lights, every detail magnified on massive digital screens. Collectors from every continent are logged in, watching, waiting, bidding. The auctioneer's voice echoes as numbers climb higher and higher. Finally, the gavel falls. $396 million. History has been made again. And with that, a simple penny has once again proven that in the world of collecting, nothing is impossible. The story of the 2014 D penny is, in the end, not just about a coin. It is about what the coin represents. It is about history, the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the survival of the Union, the symbolism of the shield, the traditions of American coinage. It is about culture, the lucky penny myths, the sayings and superstitions passed from generation to generation, the idea that even the smallest coin can hold the largest meaning. It is about economics, the rise of auction records, the thrill of bidding wars, the transformation of ordinary metal into priceless treasure. And above all, it is about human imagination, the dream that one day, a coin you hold in your hand could be worth not 1 cent, but hundreds of millions of dollars. The 2014 D penny, struck in the billions at the Denver Mint, might seem like the most ordinary coin of all. Billions were produced, billions spent, billions forgotten in drawers, jars, and pockets. Yet within those billions may lie a single specimen so flawless, so rare, or so extraordinary that it transcends its origins. That possibility is what fuels the legend. Somewhere out there could be the one in the coin destined to break records, destined to rewrite the history of numismatics, destined to become the fabled $396 million penny. But even if that coin is never found, the legend itself has power. It inspires collectors to look closer, to search harder, to believe in possibilities. It brings new people into the hobby, sparks curiosity, and connects generations. Parents teach children to check their change. Collectors trade stories at shows and online. Friends share tales of discoveries. In this way, the legend of the 2014 D penny spreads, not just as a story about money, but as a story about hope, perseverance, and the magic of small things. The penny has always been underestimated, dismissed as worthless, even debated as unnecessary. And yet, it has endured for over a century, carrying Lincoln's face and the nation's ideals in every strike. It is the smallest coin, but it carries the greatest weight of meaning. The 2014 D penny is the perfect symbol of that truth, that greatness can hide in the simplest of places, that value is not always about size or appearance, but about history, culture, and the dreams we attach to it. So as we close this journey, imagine yourself holding a 2014 D penny in your hand. Look at Lincoln's portrait, at the shield on the reverse. Think of the Denver Mint, the billions of coins struck, the history of collectors searching tirelessly for treasures. Think of the stories of pennies that have changed lives, the auctions where fortunes have been made, the dreams of luck, hope, and discovery. Then think of the legend, the whispers of a penny worth $396 million. Maybe it is real. Maybe it is a myth. Maybe it is still out there, waiting to be found. But in the end, the legend is enough. Because it proves that even in the smallest coin, the tiniest piece of change, there is the possibility of greatness. And that is the true value of the 2014 D penny. It is not just money. It is history. It is culture. It is imagination. It is legend, and legends, like the 2014 D penny, are priceless.